Have you ever looked around your city at all the new construction? The shiny new subdivisions, the big box stores, all the freshly paved roads, and just wondered, with all this growth, why has our local government always broke? Well, today we're going to dive into the hidden and honestly pretty shocking financial math that powers our cities, all based on the groundbreaking work of Charles Marohn and Strong Towns. And that's the central mystery, isn't it? We see growth everywhere, cranes on the skyline, new neighborhoods popping up on the edge of town. Our leaders are out there celebrating it, saying it's a sign of progress, of prosperity. But then, year after year, we're facing budget shortfalls, our infrastructure is crumbling, and there are debates about raising taxes just to keep the lights on. It just doesn't add up. So, what are we missing? Well, the answer lies in something called the growth paradox. And it's a powerful, really counterintuitive idea that's going to flip our entire understanding of how cities work right on its head. So this quote, it comes from Charles Marohn. And get this, he was a city engineer. His whole job was to build these new projects. But when he actually sat down and ran the numbers, he had this terrifying realization. He did the math on his own suburban home and found that the taxes he paid wouldn't even be enough to pay for his slice of the street repair. He looked at dozens of other projects and found the exact same thing. Not a single one was generating enough money to pay for its own long-term upkeep.
So how in the world did we get here? It's really important to get that the way we build cities now isn't some time-tested tradition. Nope, it's a massive, radical experiment that kicked off right after World War II. We went all in on rapid, car-centric suburban growth. And for that first generation, it felt like a miracle. But then by the 70s, that shiny new infrastructure started to get old and crumble. Fast forward to the 2000s, and we were borrowing money just to fix the stuff built a generation ago. And today, we're trapped. We need a constant fix of new growth just to pay the bills for the old growth.
And that leads us to the shocking truth at the very heart of the Strong Towns analysis. The very thing we think is making our cities wealthy, all this constant outward expansion, is actually the source of their long-term financial ruin. The growth has become the liability.
Okay, so if this model is so financially destructive, why does everybody keep doing it? Well, it's because the system is, frankly, brilliantly designed to create a powerful short-term illusion of wealth.
Marohn uses this fantastic analogy. Think about it. Traditional city building was like a potluck, right? Every guest brought more than they ate, so the party just got better and better with every new person who showed up. Our modern development pattern? It's the total opposite. Each new project consumes more in long-term services than it ever contributes in taxes. So yeah, the party looks great at first, but with every new guest that arrives, the house is secretly going bankrupt.
Here's exactly how that cycle works. First, a new project gets built. Boom. The city gets a quick hit of cash from fees and new taxes. Everything feels amazing. This kicks off what they call the golden years. For about 2 decades, all that new infrastructure, the roads, the pipes, it needs zero maintenance. The city just collects checks. But then, the bill comes due. After 20 or 25 years, that infrastructure starts to fail, and the repair costs are massive. And this is the trap. Now the city is desperate for cash. So what does it do? It seeks out even more new growth to pay for the last generation's problems. This whole cycle, it has a name: the municipal Ponzi scheme. Yeah, just like a financial Ponzi scheme, it needs a constant stream of new investors. In this case, new growth projects to pay off the promises made to earlier investors, which is really just the maintenance bill for all the existing stuff. As long as you can keep growing faster and faster, you can keep the illusion going. But the second the growth slows down, the entire system collapses. So why do we fall for it? Honestly, it's just human nature. Psychologists have a term for it: temporal discounting. We are literally hardwired to value a small reward today way more than a big reward in the future. It's the reason you might eat a donut right now, even though you know the long-term health consequences. For city leaders, that immediate reward, the new tax revenue, the ribbon-cutting photo op, it feels so much more real than some massive, abstract maintenance bill that won't show up for another 25 years. Okay, so this is all a pretty dramatic theory, I know, but is there any actual proof? Well, this next part is where the math gets truly surprising. This is where we see what a financially healthy place actually looks like. Let's look at a real-world case study right from Marohn's hometown. We've got 2 blocks here, identical in size, same location. Block A, he calls it old and blighted. It's kind of messy looking, a collection of small, older buildings from the 1920s. This is the traditional way we used to build.
Then you have Block B, Shiny and Mew. It's a modern development with a big box store and a huge parking lot. This is the product of that post-war experiment. So, which one do you think is the better financial deal for the city?
Before I give you the final number, we have to think about our cities a little bit differently, right? Just like we measure a car's efficiency in miles per gallon, we should be measuring a city's financial efficiency in value per acre. How much wealth are we generating on each little piece of land? So looking at this chart, you can see the shiny and new block. It's creating a decent amount of value. But then look at the old and blighted block. Wow, it is not even close.
The final number is just shocking. That old and blighted block generates 77% more tax revenue for the city than the shiny new one. Let that sink in. 77% more wealth on the exact same amount of land with the exact same infrastructure costs. So why is that? How is that even possible? It's because that old block is a complex ecosystem. It's got dozens of small businesses, different property owners, all making small, adaptive bets on their own. If one business fails, another one takes its place. It can evolve over time. That big box development, it's fragile. It's one massive all-or-nothing bet. It represents the absolute peak financial productivity that piece of land will ever see. And when that store eventually closes, the value plummets, leaving the city with a giant, unproductive liability.
Realizing your city might be on a path to insolvency, that's a scary thought. But the good news here is that the Strong Towns approach isn't about finding billions of dollars for some magic solution. It's about a fundamental shift in how we think and how we act.
The whole approach is really rooted in humility. First things first, stop the bleeding. Just stop expanding infrastructure that you know you can't afford to maintain. Instead, focus on making better use of what's already been built. Embrace incremental change. And this part is key. Humbly observe where people in your own community are struggling and then make small, high-return, little bets to address those struggles. This is how you build real wealth, from the bottom up, not from the top down. And this requires a total change in priorities down at City Hall. For a city engineer, the top priority shifts from just reducing traffic congestion to asking, does this project actually build measurable wealth for our community? For an economic developer, it stops being about landing that one big company with huge tax breaks. It becomes about helping 50 small, local businesses grow. It's a move away from chasing these big, risky projects and toward cultivating a resilient local ecosystem. You know, the problems our cities are facing are just way too complex for any top-down master plan. The temptation is always to look for that one grand solution, but those almost always fail spectacularly. The Strong Towns approach argues that true wisdom really emerges from trying lots of small things, learning from them, and adapting as you go. It's a continuous process of becoming stronger, not some one-time fix. And that brings us all right back to you. This isn't just theory for planners and politicians. A simple crosswalk where people need one, a bench, allowing a corner store to open up. These are the kinds of small bets that can begin to turn things around and build real, lasting wealth. So the question we want to leave you with is this. Looking around your own community, what is one humble, incremental step, one little bet that could be taken tomorrow to make your neighborhood just a little bit stronger?